What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. And we all know what Wednesdays mean. It's the recap day. Just a short 2 weeks ago, we were talking about The Bachelorette. Now we're talking about The Bachelor. It's back. Monday night, The Bachelor came back. We are here with Trent, who we're kind of mad at right now. Honestly, I'm a little pissed off at you, Trent. Trent did not watch The Bachelor premiere with us this past Monday. He did not do Cutting Stems with us. The freaking premiere, dude. It's not mid-season. It's the premiere.
I want to apologize to everyone out there. I wanted to be there. I so badly wanted to be there, but my schedule with the Foreplay Golf podcast, we had to travel. We were going across the country. It just wasn't going to work out. I tried my best to not miss the premiere, and sure enough, I missed the premiere. I live tweeted the show from a food court at the San Diego airport. We were rushing around all day. We had things to do in the morning. It's so weird. I love California, and it's a beautiful place. We stayed at this hotel that was pretty close to the water, and it was very beautiful. But the world passes you by. If you wake up at 8 or 9 a.m., it's already noon on the East Coast, and things are just over. So we were rushing around all day, filming stuff, all this crazy stuff. And then I wanted to be somewhere static, sitting at 5 o'clock California time, because that's when it would air on the East Coast. And lucky enough, I got to the airport at 4:50. I sat down in this food court. I fired up my cell phone. And I just put the cell phone on the laptop, and I live tweeted like that. And it was, honestly, I didn't think I was going to be able to live tweet. I thought we were going to be too busy. So just being able to do that made me the happiest guy in the world. I'm sorry that I missed Cutting Stems, but I was so happy to be able to watch the premiere on time.
I'm happy for you. Honestly, I'm not even mad at you anymore, because the dedication that you just showed to this show, to The Bachelor, is insane. You got to the airport so you could sit your ass down, set up a small little minuscule phone for you to watch and tweet on your little laptop. You're dedicated, Trent. You're dedicated.
Our flight was at 9:45 at night. I took a red eye, which if you can avoid that, just avoid that at all costs. Today, I don't even feel like myself. I don't feel like a real person. Mm-hmm. I got into New York at 6 a.m. I went to bed right when I got home, whatever. But our flight was at 9:45, and I got to the airport at 5 p.m. just to sit there so I could live tweet The Bachelor. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I thought the premiere was great. I know we're going to get into it. Matt James is great. I think I fell in love with him just as much as all those girls did. But this is going to be such a good season.
A brisk 4 hours and 45 minutes before your flight arrival time, sitting at that food court. Trent, we're proud of you, because we know, we know that, Foreplay, they have they're busy guys. You got to work around everyone's schedule. You got to make things happen.
Podcast.
Yeah, we know, but we know where your heart lies. We know where your heart lies. And it shows by showing up to the airport 4 hours and 45 minutes early to live tweet.
I had to look like a crazy person in that food court. You know the gif of Kermit the Frog where he's just hammering away at it? That was me in that food court in the San Diego airport. But
you do hammer also when you type. I know that from live tweeting when you're in that room with us, you bang those keys.
Of course he bangs the keys. His meaty ass hands are like big weight in the keyboard. Of course it's going to feel like that. Yep.
I didn't realize how hard I hammered the keyboard until Barstool moved to New York and we were all in the same office blogging together. And then I have people around me and I'm wearing my headphones and I'm blogging away all day. And people are like, you got to cut that out because it's just too loud. But that's just the way I do it. I like to tweet from my laptop. You guys make me feel like I'm 150 years old because you tweet from your phones and I lug this huge laptop over to the room that we watch it at Barstool. But that's how I do it.
What did you eat during The Bachelor?
So actually the food court was
in the food court.
Everything, it's a pandemic. Things are crazy. Yep. You can't do much. So everything was closed. It was a food court where all of the food places they had the gates down. So I ate nothing.
That's even more dramatic. Tweeting from a closed food court.
It was certainly the weirdest place I've ever live tweeted The Bachelor, no doubt.
Yeah, that's true. But Trent, you said, we're talking about Matt James and how, everybody kind of fell in love with Matt James last night, which is so true. I think everybody, guys, girls, whatever, loved Matt James. I don't know if if you saw them, Trent, but Ashley, I posted on her Instagram story all these stories of Jared watching the show, and he was drunk. Like he was drunk. I think he makes these like eggnog martinis that he's been making like throughout the holiday season that literally look like a heart attack in a glass. Like it's like eggnog and like chocolate syrup and like the rim is cereal. It's unbelievable. And he was definitely drinking, and his commentary was just hilarious. But basically, he like loves Matt too. Like he was like, I can't get over it. I love this guy, Matt James. And he was saying what I think is so true, that Matt brings a new feeling to the show because he was not on The Bachelorette, because he wasn't on any of these other shows, and he's going through it all for the first time. It's like watching him learn and grow on the TV instead of a bachelor coming on who's like very glossed and prepared and knows how to act and like knows the right things to say, when he's just kind of testing the waters.
Right. Him being legitimately nervous about all the things that were going on is incredibly endearing. Like you could tell that the things that he was going through were genuine emotions, and that makes you an incredibly likable bachelor. I was trying to think about the last bachelor that we liked through an entire season. Obviously, it's very early on with Matt James, but it's been a while. But Matt James definitely has the best chance of being the most like bachelor in recent memory. He's just very genuine. He's very honest about being like, I'm not perfect. I think in my past, I've tried to portray myself as perfect, but I'm not that guy anymore. I want to try to be more vulnerable. It's a nice change, and he seems like a genuinely good guy.
Did you think that there was any problem with him being the bachelor and like talking about how he's never been in love before? Because people sometimes think like, oh, he's never been in love before, he's not ready to be engaged, he's not ready for marriage or any of those things. But he laid it out pretty well, kind of how his past relationships have gone and how his parents' relationship has affected how he is. And it kind of seems like he has, maybe dated people or seen people, and then when it gets to a certain serious point, he closes himself off and he can't go any further. So it's going to be very interesting to see him be super vulnerable, because that was like the first question his mom asked him when they sat down, was like, when was the last time you were vulnerable? So it's like, oh boy, if you get ready, because this could like hit him so fast. We saw in the preview of him like bawling his eyes out. It's like, okay, I hope you're ready for this. There's a lot of girls.
In terms of him not being in love before, that didn't bother me. If anything, it showed me that he's at least being honest. Like, he could have very easily lied about that and been like, no, I've been in love. I know what it feels like. I can't wait to find that feeling again. It's going to be great. That's why I'm on this show. But he's sort of showing up being like, I've never been in love before, and I'm going to try my best at it. I'm going to try to be vulnerable. But no, I've never had that before, but I'm going to trust this process, and hopefully it works out. But that didn't bother me, him saying he's never been in love before. No.
I feel like the way he explained it happens to a lot of people, because he didn't downright say at first, no, I've never been in love. He said, I thought I knew what love was, but I'm not really quite sure I do anymore. Like he's had past flings, relationships, whatever it may be, but not to the point where he's like, this person's the one. So I don't think that necessarily means he's never going to feel that way. Like, I think that maybe somebody on this show could change that for him.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Let's start. We'll talk about the vibrator and everything that happened, because that was the first clip that we saw. Record number of applicants. Every girl in America wants to date Matt James. Internationally, I feel like they might have gotten some international applications at this point. They did. There was girls from Canada. So, a lot of people want to date Matt James. But right off the bat, the season has a different tone. You see Chris Harrison on this red carpet. This resort is behind him. It's breathtakingly gorgeous, like absolutely stunning. Couldn't be. You're like, okay. And we've always joked about it before, right? That The Bachelor has a bigger budget than The Bachelorette, but it's never been more blatant than La Quinta and the Nemacolin. Like, it's absolutely insane. Matt James is flying in on airplanes. He's driving G-Wagons. He's got like an apartment complex to himself called Mystic Falls. He's living in Mystic Falls. He's living in Vampire Diaries. Like, it's unbelievable.
They have everything. Like
everything.
Keisha and Zach got a fake taxi. I bet if Matt James wants a taxi for New York, they're getting a real one. They're pulling up a real taxi to that place because they have enough room for it. This place looks better than the mansion. Like it's unbelievable. If I were Tasha and Claire, I would be watching this like those sons of bitches. Like they really fucked us over. But good for Matt James and the girls because, well, actually, you know what? Think about this. Obviously, for Tasha and Claire, we do wish that they had a better setup like Matt James does. But for all the guys, like they could rough it out. I don't really care about the guys on Tasha's season having to stay in those little La Quinta apartments. All of these women on Matt James's season get to stay in a beautiful hotel. So I'm happy for all of them.
I felt bad for the guys. They were sweating through their shirts every single day out there. Just wearing gray shirts and sweating through them. That, what is it?
You can't have girls sweating like that. Like the guy, guys, we get it. They get, they get sweaty a little bit more easier.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like Tisha was still glowing at all times, but imagine they had to worry about 23 women.
That's fair. That Nemacolin, every time they would come back from the commercial break, and at the beginning of the episode, it was Chris Harrison standing in front of the building. Like the building looks fake. Looks taller than like the camera cannot even capture all of it. It's so tall, and it is. They're just living a completely different life. That Nemacolin place looks magnificent.
Yeah, it looks like something out of like a princess movie. Like your Princess Diaries or it's absolutely stunning. And their reservations are going to go through the goddamn roof. Like this is whatever they had to, whatever arrangement they set up with the Bachelor to get them to film at this resort. Well done, because people are going to be going there way more than they were before, just because it looks so stunning. And I think they're going to continue to showcase how nice it is and how many things they're doing. I remember seeing stories from Jason Tartick, like before they were filming Bachelor, and he was there at the resort. I don't know if at the time, if he knew that the show was happening there or not, but Caitlin had told us, that they had wanted to go back and they had said, we actually have this amount of time, like booked off, like nobody's coming, where the whole place is closed. And they were like, oh, the Bachelor. So it seems very, very nice.
An underrated thing about this season is going to be the foliage, the fall foliage. Like there were a couple of shots last night, like when he was driving his G-Wagon to his spectacular apartment where the trees were changing colors. I think it's going to be a very big season for Matt James, but it might be a bigger season for foliage because I love foliage. Everybody loves foliage. Foliage in that part of the country is beautiful. And I really just kind of like saying the word foliage. So it's going to be quite a season for foliage.
I really admire your love for foliage.
Do you not love foliage?
Foliage is great.
I never really thought about foliage until now.
You're going to know.
My friends went to Saratoga in the fall strictly for the foliage. Like that's like we wanted to be outside in the foliage.
I'll tell you what. I love foliage so much that I follow random foliage Instagram accounts.
What? What an interesting fact about you.
Foliage is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is.
Oh my God, your passion is causing a fire inside me.
I didn't even think about the foliage aspect to this resort, Trent, and that is a top-notch point. Like when the leaves are red and orange and falling and
about the foliage.
Matt,
beautiful.
It's gonna be beautiful. Matt James falling in love, the beautiful autumn weather. Oh, he's gonna be in so many vests, so many plaids, and so many vests.
Is kind of like a bad time for me. Like I
love the fall.
Get very, very pretty much depressed in the fall. And I don't know exactly why, but I think it's because every single, like, I know, why am I going back to high school? But the beginning of high school, like the fall season for me was always really bad. Like, my boyfriend was always breaking up with me and doing something crazy. Like I was always getting really upset. And like that has stuck with me for some reason. Except the one fall that I got hired at Barstool. That one was a great fall. That was an awesome fall. September 2016 was a great fall. And actually, the past falls have been pretty good as well.
You got to shake the high school thing because fall's great.
I think
Fall's great.
My thoughts on fall, except this fall was not good for me either. So,
well, asterisk, fall in a pandemic, not great.
Yeah.
I think I just every time fall rolls around, like I can sense myself getting a little sad.
That's fair. Fall is
but now that I have foliage in my life.
Yes. It's gonna change your whole perspective on fall. Start appreciating foliage, and it's gonna change your whole life. Also, Fran, you had mentioned Matt James's outfits. He is gonna get off some fits in this chilly autumn fall weather. It's just gonna be magnificent. I keep saying the word magnificent, and I don't know why, but it's gonna be.
I'm hoping for some, maybe knit sweaters. Like just jeans, boots. I love fall. Fall is one of my favorites, and fall fashion is one of my favorites. So
fall
Matt James,
one of your favorites. There's only 4 seasons. Of course, it's one of your favorites.
Fall is probably my favorite.
What?
I agree.
Ah,
well,
you guys, come on.
Everything about fall is great. Everything.
Right. Fall in the Midwest.
Wetter weather.
Yeah, fall for me in the Midwest was always we're done with hellacious summer, which in Iowa can be bad with the humidity, and then football. It's college football. And that's, you got hoodie weather. I like to, I'm not always in the best of shape, so I can throw on a hoodie finally. I feel better. Like I feel more comfortable. Fall is top for me.
Damn. I'm with you.
The more you know.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into these ladies, shall we? The limo's rolling up. Chris Harrison and Matt James are having a little fireside chat. Matt James, who, and we don't even need to say it, looks amazing in his tuxedo. He's nervous. He wants to talk to Chris Harrison, says like, hey, let's have a chat. They have their lovely little fireside chat, which was beautiful. Every room they go into, it's like stunning. So they're having this conversation. He wants some advice, like night one, wants some help with night one. He's super nervous. Just talking about the pressures of being the first Black Bachelor and the expectations that viewers have on him. He didn't outright say it, but he kind of did say it, like, the pressures of, picking a Black woman or picking a white woman, and like how those how people will react to those situations and how his parents' relationship has affected him. So look, it was nice to see him open up about this, because there's no way he doesn't have these worries. There's no way he went into this without seeing, what people were saying and were already criticizing him about before the show even started.
Right. This is just further maturity for this show. We got a lot of it last season with Tayshia and Claire, all the guys opening up about their different issues and those things. And it's just like a couple of years ago, we go from, if it's a couple of years ago and this season is airing, Matt James does not have this conversation with Chris Harrison. He gets out of the limo. Chris Harrison's like, let's meet the ladies. And they meet the ladies. This time, Matt James is like, let's talk for a little bit. They have this conversation. It's all good. And it's just the further this show goes down these paths, the better it's going to be. Like, we're still going to get the crazy drama. We're still going to get to the girls who are wearing tiaras and causing all the drama. But having this aspect of the show, I think, is very, very good for the show going forward.
Yeah, I agree. And I also like that the intro that we had for Matt James, because he's never been on this show before. So he is really brand new. And they're allowing him to have like his own story without it being like, because realistically, if we're really being completely honest, the only reason he is on this show is because of Tyler. Like, that is straight up the only reason, right? Like, he's Tyler's best friend. Then everyone got to know him through Tyler. Then he gets casted on Claire's season. And then from that, he becomes the Bachelor. So it's like, they could have included,
Tyler was the catalyst, but like, he has to have his own,
that's what I'm saying, though. Like, he has his own story, obviously, but the Bachelor Nation knows him through Tyler, but I thought it was nice that they weren't like right away, right in the intro, like, oh, look at Tyler and then Matt Myler, these two, and then we got to know Matt James, because it could have easily gone down that path. But instead it was like, this is Matt James.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely good to establish Matt as his own person. And, you know, everybody always associates him with Tyler, which is fair. They are best friends. So that was definitely a great thing. Just meet Matt James, a good montage, everything they did. The ladies that got their video packages were, you know, and sometimes I always forget that there's always one who gets a video package who gets sent home. I always forget that, but consistently there always is one who gets a video package who then gets sent home. And out of this list, Alicia, Kristen, Maggie, Abigail, Anna, and Sarah all got video packages. And it sucked that, you know, we're jumping to the end here, but obviously one of them was sent home. But right off the bat, everybody seemed like they had good stories. They were all beautiful women. It's not any surprise. Every single woman who came out of that limo, you were like, oh my God, these women are stunning. It was just not shocking. Like I said, record amount of people who applied to be on this season. And so these girls are the lucky ones.
They are. I'm still at the point, it's going to take a couple weeks where I got to learn these girls' names. I have to do it. It's going to take a while. Those names you listed off, I was like, oh man, like I don't remember that many of those. Maybe it was because I was sitting in an airport, but but yeah. And the thing I loved about the introductions, I liked a lot of them, but Matt James watching them all walk away and go up the stairs was an absolute delight. He did it for every single one. He would meet them. They'd have a nice introduction, a little chat, and they'd be like, all right, I'll see you inside. And then he would watch them walk up the stairs. Good for you, Matt James. You're the Bachelor, man. This is going to be awesome for you.
Yeah, he would like rub his palms together, like lick the side of his mouth, like, yeah, I'm going to get a piece of that ass later. Like he's looking at every single one of them like that, walking up the stairs. And I enjoyed it. Like, get the full view, Matt. That's what we're here for. Get to know these ladies.
Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead, Trent.
He was like, oh, she's really wearing that dress. Like he was enjoying himself.
Mari walked past him and walked up the stairs and he turned around and was like drooling. Like and we were just like, oh, you know, she must have a great ass. Like he just turned, you could see him looking at her like, whoa. So he definitely, I don't know if he knew what was coming. Like I think he was really shocked by a lot of these women when they came out of the limo and saw them just strut their stuff. Amazing dresses, beautiful dresses. Everybody looked amazing. It's tough because there's 30 girls. It's just so many girls. 30 had to come out of the limo, which, you know, not everybody got a moment. Not everybody got time. Right. So we won't go through, I don't think we need to go through, obviously, every single person's limo entrance. Also, because I have a feeling that I could throw some names out and Trent, you would be like, I have no idea who that is.
I'd have a better chance of recognizing what they did in the introduction as opposed to like what their names are. That's where I'm at. Totally.
So why don't we talk about some of our favorite limo entrances or the ones that stood out to us and kind of do it that way, maybe, instead of going through every single name.
To be completely honest, they were all kind of the same to me, but they were all good. Like, it wasn't anything too cringy, in my opinion. Usually somebody comes out and it's like extremely cringy. I didn't really get that vibe from anybody this season. You know, Katie, she came out with the vibrator that had people talking, obviously. Kaylee or Kylie, she came out in full lingerie. That was pretty bold. And then MJ had that pizza thing that was pretty funny and also corny at the same time. But other than that, I don't really remember the other ones besides them coming out and just speaking to Matt and being nice and beautiful.
I'm 100% sure there was no pizza in that pizza box.
No way.
No shot.
First of all, they would have had a slice. You don't just get handed a box of pizza.
Yeah.
Don't. And if you watch back, Matt James slings that thing around his back, and it's very clear that it's super, super empty. The one takeaway from the limo entrances for me was Kit, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Kit, but her introduction to Matt James, I like felt a chill, and it wasn't a, oh my gosh, I think they're going to be in love and get married chill. It was, I'm not sure what this woman is capable of, but she could be capable of just about anything. Like, she's just got that calmness. A lot of the girls get up there and they just talk a lot. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're so handsome. It's so good to meet you. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to talk to you inside. And Kit was like almost too composed to the point where I don't know what she's going to do this season. I don't know if I'm going to love Kit. I don't know if I'm going to hate Kit, but I'm very interested in what Kit is going to do this season.
Kit to me is, she's 21. She's from New York City, born and raised. And to me, she's straight out of like, Rhea, did you ever watch NYC Prep on Bravo?
No.
Oh man, this show was on a long time ago, but it was about like New York City prep school kids, and it was like supposed to be kind of real life Gossip Girl sort of. And Kit feels like she's straight out of that show to me. She is. I just get the sense that she is one of those girls that is very young but acts a lot older. And a lot of that is, she'll always say like, well, I was raised in New York City. Like, New York City ages you. And she has her mother is Cynthia Rowley. She's a famous fashion designer. So she's got all these things going for her. And it's a little bit of Becca vibes, Becca with the K, of like how everyone was like, she's so young, she's too young. And in reality, she's just a lot more mature than her age says. I did not like her outfit. Rhea, no, we've talked about this multiple times, but everybody's dress I thought was spectacular. Kit in her feather dress and black boots didn't do it for me. I didn't feel like it was a Bachelor night one appearance, that outfit, that dress you could wear at another time, but it just wasn't for me. Was not for me.
Yeah, I didn't like the outfit. Like, I would never wear it, but I respected her wearing it because it was different. And if that's what she's into and that's what she likes, then I think she should wear it. Like, I don't think that you should be forced to wear a sparkly long gown if you don't.
No. You don't have to.
It's like, I don't like sparkly long gowns. So I would not prefer to be in one. I actually really like Chelsea's dress, and I think I would prefer to be in something like that rather than Kit's. But Kit was like, I want to wear this feathery dress that costs probably $1,000 that her mom made. So like, I definitely didn't like the outfit, but I always appreciate when somebody just wears what they want to wear. Like, I didn't think it matched. I didn't think it looked good together. They didn't go together at all, but good for you for wearing what you want to wear. Like, I admire that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that her mom was a famous fashion designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kit's verified on Instagram already. She like has a podcast. She's like 3 steps ahead of all the other girls, basically.
Interesting.
And in the influencer world, Kit, everybody's talking about how Kit looks like Beth from Queen's Gambit, how Kit looks like Kit the American Girl doll. Like, there's just a lot of comparisons, but it's definitely going to be the battle, right? Kit and Victoria is going to be the battle, it seems like, because Kit is younger, more mature. Victoria, older, much less mature. Victoria seems like she lives in absolute la la land. She calls herself a queen. She's 27 years old. She came out in a freaking throne and crown and everything. And it's going to be brutal. It sucks because we're going to want her to go home for so many weeks, and she's not going to go home, and we're just going to have to deal with it.
The thing is, I hate her. I dislike her. I think she's terrible. I will not be calling her queen, but we need her on the show for drama. We need her for good TV. Otherwise, we don't get the drama. We need the Kit-Victoria rivalry to fuel something on this show. We come for the drama. I come for the tears. I come for the pain. I come for maybe a little bit of love, but I come for all those things first. And I think we're going to get that. And you know what it reminds me of? You know what this drama really reminds me of? Fucking Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore, prime time drama. I know Trent, he's never seen it, but I've seen basically every episode of Jersey Shore. And you need like a Victoria, like Angelina to me is like the Victoria of Jersey Shore, like annoying.
Good comparison.
And
good comparison.
You don't really like her, but you need something like that on the show. That's why we watch Jersey Shore. And Jersey's are back this Thursday, 8/9 Central on MTV. Make sure you tune in. The whole gang, they're back together. You know, Mike, the situation, he's got his whole he's got his wife, he's having a baby, he's turned his whole life around. Pauly D ended up falling in love with the girl from Double Shot at Love. Who would have thought? Who would have thought they quarantined together? But that's happening. Listen, guys, you got to watch Jersey Shore, Thursdays. The Bachelor's on Monday, but if you need other reality TV shows, and I think you do, tune into Jersey Shore on Thursday nights, MTV.
The most cringeworthy parts of Queen Victoria, I'll call her Queen. I'll give it to her. She was wearing.
No,
I'll do
no.
it.
You, Trent.
I'll play into her character. She was cringeworthy a lot of the night, but when she would be talking to girls who had not talked to Matt yet, and that was when she would be giving them like therapy sessions, like literally, you should go talk to him. Literally, like right now, go do it. If I say literally one more time, you have to go talk to him. And then she would walk away, and all the other girls would just laugh at her. You're right, Rhea. We need a Queen Victoria because there's going to be drama with Kit. She got a rose the other night, not to jump too far ahead, because she's going to have all this drama surrounding her. But she was also the one of the night who got the drunkest. And you don't need Queen Victoria getting drunker than everyone else, because then she's about to cry when she's not going to get a rose. She's starting all this other drama. She's calling Kit princess. She is a bit of a hot mess, but you do need someone like that on the show, because this season, as opposed to last season, which we've talked about, didn't have as much drama as we would have liked. They tried to force the Bennett and Noah drama. I think we're going to have very natural drama with a lot of these girls, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah, it seems like there is going to be more natural dislike in this group where you can visibly see it. Trent, the moment you're talking about when Victoria was talking to those girls, being like, did you get your time yet? Like, you should go talk to him. I really thought that she was going to get up and go get Matt and bring him over and be like, Amber, I brought Matt for you. Like, I really thought she was going to do that, which would have been unbelievable. She did not, but like the whole thing was pretty ridiculous. I think there was a couple other limo entrances I wanted to talk about. Rhea, you mentioned the lingerie, which was very bold from Kaylee. There was also Alana, who did the Lady and the Tramp spaghetti thing where they actually did kiss, which seemed a little too much. Like I couldn't tell. Matt was probably fine. It's okay. But the way Matt handled the first night and the way he only, or at least from what we saw, only kissed Abigail, I was like, he's not kissing everybody. Like you just kissed him. You just kissed him. This isn't Peter. We're not kissing everybody. And you need to, I don't know. I didn't like the spaghetti Lady and the Tramp. I did not like it.
I certainly don't count that as his first kiss on the show.
No, I hope he doesn't either.
I don't think he would. Abigail was the first kiss. Yeah, it was a bold move, I will say. But yeah, I would not count that as the first kiss. Abigail still gets that crown.
Yeah.
I hate that move because you're kind of forcing him to kiss you. Like,
yeah.
What if he didn't want to kiss you? And then you just put that spaghetti in his mouth and what is he supposed to? No, I'm not going to do that right now. Like he's going along with the ride. Now he's all in. He's got to put the spaghetti in his mouth. It's going to end up next to your mouth and then he's going to kiss you. But I don't think that's how you should want your first kiss to go with him. I think you should want it to come natural in a romantic moment, not really force it upon him right when you get there.
Yeah, I agree.
Might as well just tackle him down and kiss him then. Like that. It's kind of the same thing if she just ran up in football gear and tackled him and then kissed him.
Right. And then, a lot of the other girls just continue to talk about how hot he is. He's the hottest man they've ever seen. So excited to meet him. Everybody's nervous. Everybody's excited to meet him. All 30 girls got out the limo. And then Matt comes in and leads a prayer, which was a little more controversial on Twitter than I thought it was going to be. People were a little hot and cold on that move. But for me personally, I understand it. Matt, right off the bat, is showing these women that his faith is important to him, which, we saw with Tayshia, that conversation didn't happen till so late with Ivan. And maybe if it happened earlier, things would have been different. And now, obviously, he didn't have this conversation with every single woman, but right off the bat, leading the season with a prayer is kind of like, okay, this is important to him. This is good. He said what he wanted to say. He asked everybody to bow their heads. And I think that if you were someone who maybe is super anti-religion and you're on the show, you just kind of sit back and let him do his thing. And this is his show.
Yeah. No, I certainly don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. Twitter is going to get mad at everything that happens. So I'm not surprised to see that people were on either side being like, having one opinion one way or the other. But I mean, I will say the girls loved it. They loved it. A couple of the girls cried. They were like, this is it. This is why I'm here. I'm here for Matt James. I'm sure he obviously didn't plan it out where I'm going to pray and these girls are going to be all over me about it. But boy, oh boy, was that the case. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I tweeted, I was like, these girls are soaking wet that he just whipped out a prayer. Like, it's kind of the same thing for me, Trent. Either way, I'm not really I'm not really pulled in either direction. Like, we talked about this in Cutting Stems. Like, I went to private Catholic school my entire life, but would I say I'm very, very religious in the fact that I go to church every week and I pray every single night and day? I don't do that, but I believe in what I believe in. And I feel like it's kind of like, if he's very religious like that and that's how he wants to start off the season, then go for it, especially because it wasn't like, a deep prayer. Like, he wasn't like, it was more so just like,
he talked about the vibrator halfway through.
Yeah. Like it was more so just like, him hoping for the best. And just like, that was the vibe that I got from it. And I think, Fran, you're right. Like, if you're not religious and you don't believe in whatever he believes in, then you can kind of just, not participate. You don't have to participate in the prayer, but like you said, it's his season, it's his show. He lets everybody know right off the bat, I'm religious. And if they're not into that, then they know they're going to be a terrible match for him right off the bat. So it gets that out of the way.
Yeah, let him have his moment. And if it was something that made you feel uncomfortable, then that's something that you can bring up with him one-on-one. And maybe that's right off I'm going to say, I said right off the bat 9,000 times. Maybe right then, this isn't going to work. You're like, hey, all right, this is it. But it was light. It was nice. The girls, it seemed like, really loved it. The vibrator on the table, the whole thing was very funny. He got to talk to a lot of the women, but I'm sure he did seem very tight. And he talked about it at first, that he was very nervous. Like, I tweeted, get this guy some shots. He needed to loosen up a little bit. He was going through these conversations a little robotically, but it took, a bunch more of them for him to open up more and start to have a little fun and relax a little bit more, and spoke to a lot of these women, not all of them. A lot of them didn't get their time, but probably the biggest moment of the, meet and greet hangout time was Matt sitting down with Mari, who is, from Puerto Rico. Her family's in Puerto Rico. And I believe she's a pageant girl. And she gave him a boarding pass. Puerto Rico, she's at the back. It was like, for us to travel, the whole thing. And then she starts talking about how important Puerto Rico is to her and how, her family is there and what they've had to deal with some of the natural disasters that have happened in Puerto Rico. And she's very serious, talking about this very seriously. And then Katie just shows up with the vibrator in hand, like it's like right over Mari's shoulder, just vibrator over her shoulder. And it is unfortunate that conversation had to be cut off that way. But the vibrator was like the whole shtick for the episode. Katie had to carry that vibrator all night long. She had to. We were talking about dildos on the first episode. They said the word dildo like 6 times.
I love this show. The Puerto Rico thing, it wasn't great. I understand interrupting that conversation by tapping someone on the shoulder with a vibrator, not an ideal situation for that to happen. But as a viewer, as a guy who loves this franchise more than anything, as a guy who live tweets it and has a blast doing it, there's nothing better than this show. There's nothing better than moments like that. The fact that you can have Matt James meeting the women for the first time and starting it off with a prayer, vibrators on the table. Then you have a girl talking about her family being in Puerto Rico and how she's been affected by these natural disasters, and having the vibrator pop up again. Like, you're just not going to get that anywhere else. I'm sure people were upset about that interruption, but it's like, it's reality TV and these things are going to happen. And that's kind of what makes it great.
Yeah, that was not as maybe planned as you could get, because, you know, I think maybe they had Katie waiting in the wings for the right moment to be like, all right, you take that vibrator and you go over to Matt James and you have that talk. And it just so happened to be at an unbelievable time. Katie seemed very funny. I think, you know, Caitlin Bristow was tweeting a lot that Katie reminds her of herself and how she came off pretty strong on the first episode, and that they maybe have similar vibes. Katie does seem very funny. She does seem like she has a good sense of humor. Didn't think I would be hearing anyone say like, oh, I just booped a pageant girl's shoulder with the dildo, like on the show. So she definitely created some funny moments, which we need. And I hope she continues to do that.
Going back to, you had mentioned that Matt James, I think he even said, I feel robotic being the Bachelor. Yeah. I think that's really interesting, because that's got to be such a weird spot for him, where he's never been on, you know, this show or a franchise of this show at all. And you've seen The Bachelor. He's clearly watched the show before. So you go into it thinking, I'm the Bachelor and this is how the Bachelor would act. When it's really, if you get comfortable, and he eventually did with the couple of girls that he talked to, you just got to be yourself. But I understand the pressure of being the Bachelor and talking to these girls and probably thinking in your head, like, I'm the Bachelor. This is how the Bachelor is supposed to talk. When in reality, you got to get more comfortable. And if you have to really open up to these girls to be yourself. So his thought process through the whole thing has just been very interesting and very fascinating to watch, because he's very conscious that he's the Bachelor. Obviously that's clear, but he's going through like, how do I be the Bachelor and what kind of Bachelor do I want to be? Having a thoughtful Bachelor like that, I think, is a great thing. Agreed.
He's going to do... This is what I was saying at the beginning. It's what makes him so different. He hasn't been on the other side of this, where he was one of a bunch of guys competing for one girl. He doesn't know like how that night one goes. So he's just trying his best, winging it, talking to these girls, doing what he can, trying to make connections, which is why I had kind of like no idea who was going to get that first impression rose right away. I was like, I can't really tell if he's making connections, who he likes. All these girls are so stunning. But he ended up having what seemed like, or at least what we saw, two very good conversations with Bree and with Abigail. Bree, I couldn't shut up about all night. She is so beautiful. And I think she connected with Matt on a very personal front of like, hey, you know, I also come from a mixed race family. And, you know, my mom, single mom kind of situation. So it seemed like they had connected on a lot of those things, maybe in their childhood. And you could see in that conversation, Matt start to like open up a little bit more and be like, okay, these girls, maybe like, I know all these girls are beautiful, but maybe like I'll actually like one of them kind of thing. Cause I'm sure he had his doubts. And with Abigail, sparks were flying.
Yeah. They even from when she got out of the limo, it seemed like her immediately being open and vulnerable. Like, I think that when Matt was like, all right, well, this is what I'm trying to be. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to get out of this show, is to be more open and more vulnerable. And Abigail clearly did that right out of the gate. They had a great conversation when they first met. And they had an even greater conversation inside the mansion or inside the resort. And so the sparks were flying. You could instantly tell that she's going to go very far on this season.
She's absolutely precious, Abigail.
Yeah.
Like if she gets hurt, oh no, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad news if she has a heartbreak story, because she is quite literally precious.
She really is. She just seems so sweet. She seems like she has a great heart. She's got a great, like, I can't even really describe it. She just seems like she exudes like sunlight. Like she just seems bright and has that kind of interaction with Matt, which is so nice. She gets the first impression rose. They're having a great conversation that seemed like a first date conversation where they were on their own, having their own date, talking, getting to know each other. And she, I hope, goes very far. First impression rose normally means something, even though, you know, Tayshia, it meant nothing. So hopefully this first impression rose means a lot. I think we like Abigail a lot. I think she looks like Olivia Munn. I was looking at her and was like, you look, she's another one that's absolutely beautiful. Go ahead, Trent.
When she got that first impression rose, I almost cried next to a closed Jack in the Box. Like it was it was an incredibly emotional moment, him giving her that rose. And I looked at my surroundings afterwards and I was like, I can't cry right here, but I want to get a little teary eyed because it was a very nice moment.
It was. Rhea was getting emotional.
I was
watching that.
It doesn't happen for me. It does not happen for me often on the show that I get emotional, and I was getting teary eyed at that as well.
It happened. Yeah. I would agree. I don't usually get overly emotional during this show just because it's an absurd program, but there are moments that especially when it comes out of left field like that, you're just like, woof, I'm starting to feel some things during the show that I don't normally do. And that was one of those moments.
I'm with you. It seemed very genuine, which is why it was easy to kind of already get emotionally invested in their relationship. And on top of that, Abigail is deaf. You know, she's the first deaf contestant that's ever been on this show. So that's fantastic. And it also just shows how Matt was so open to just like hearing her story and getting to talk to her. And even when she came out of the limo and he was like, oh, I'll make sure I enunciate. Like it was very sweet. It was very sweet. One of my favorite moments of night one is when the Bachelor or Bachelorette has to go in and get the rose and walk it past every other person. And it's just like all those girls were watching that rose move through the resort, like hoping it was theirs. And in my head, it's just like, suckers, it's going to Abigail.
Yeah.
I got legitimately nervous for Matt's safety as Queen Victoria watched him take that rose to a different area of the house. I thought she was going to be like, where are you going? What's going on with that rose? She was bordering on being a big problem. But that moment when he picks up the rose and walks away, those girls, they freak. Yeah.
Abigail is also just such a sweet name, isn't it? Like, I don't know what it is about the name Abigail, but I just immediately feel like you have to be a very sweet person with the name Abigail.
I don't think I've ever met someone with the name Abigail. I feel like you don't see
one
the name
girl.
around.
I knew one girl.
Abigail Breslin.
Yeah. Yes. Don't know her personally, but that is a good example.
This girl I went to acting class with when I was younger had a band with Abigail Breslin. It was just Abigail Breslin, and they had a very short run because they got into a big fight, and they were donezo.
Who's Abigail Breslin?
She's a famous actress.
Abigail Breslin. I'm gonna Google her really fast.
I'm trying to think of what you would what's the movie called? Driving Miss Sun. No, what is
Little Miss Sunshine?
Little Miss Sunshine. That's the movie I'm thinking of.
I have seen that.
She's in that.
Okay.
She's the little girl in that. She's in Zombieland.
Their band was called Cab.
Oh, damn.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Drama.
She's the younger sister in Zombieland.
Yes.
That's where I would know her from.
There you go. Good connection.
All right.
All right. And then we have the rose ceremony. We'll get into the rose ceremony. Before we do that, guys, I want to make sure that you're all taking care of your skin because you know, the winter months right now, your skin might be acting up, might be dry, might be flaky. You don't know what to do. You can't use the same products you use in the summer and the winter. You need something that is going to personally help your skin And that is with Rory, because it is customized, made just for you. Rory is a digital health clinic for women. It's the sister brand of Roman. Like Roman, they make it simple to connect with a doctor online and see if a personalized prescription skincare treatment is right for you, all from your home. You don't have to wait in line and at the office, doctor's office, or at the pharmacy. All you got to do is go on your phone or computer, complete a free online consultation, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. You'll get prescribed a personalized skincare treatment plan that works just for you and your skin. You don't even have to go to the pharmacy. It's delivered right to your door with free 2-day shipping. You can also follow up with your doctor anytime if you need to make a change to your treatment or have any questions. With Rory, there are no commitments and you can cancel anytime. So go to hellorory.com/chicks to try out a 3-month supply of nightly defense for just $5. It's free to chat with the doctor and your first order is just $5. That's hellorory.com/chicks. Eligibility requirements and additional terms apply. These ladies make it to the rose ceremony. It's early in the morning. You can tell from when these women walk out and it's straight up daytime. They look exhausted. They look stressed. Like, these are the moments when, not that I would ever, not that I need to go on, not that I would be on this show, but these are the moments where I think if I was on this show, this might break me. I don't know how these women do it. They're up all night long. Especially the ones who didn't get to talk to Matt at all. And they're like, in their heads, they're like, I just came here. I made it through the whole casting process. Record amount of applicants. I made this list and I'm going to go home night 1 at 6 a.m. and have to freaking carry my heels out of the Nemacolin. Like, it's got to be so emotional. They looked more nervous than I think normally the girls look.
Not
That's
only
the name of the game. You should expect to go home night 1.
Not only did they, the most applicants, all that, but they had to go through quarantine. They had to, it's a whole different process now. So yeah, to go through all of that and then get 0 time with the Bachelor and get sent home, that's gotta be a bit devastating.
Definitely. So there are 30 women. He cut it down to 23. It got a little stressful there down towards the end. Anna and Alana were in the same dress. I don't really know how they didn't talk about it. They clearly put each other next to each other at the rose ceremony for a reason. So when it showed them, everyone would be like, they're in the same dress. But there was no talk about it. There wasn't any, oh my God, she's in my same dress. Maybe they didn't care. What's
good about that though? It shows why Kit showed up in that fucking feather duster outfit, because nobody's going to be wearing the same dress as that.
Yep.
The moment that he called Alana's name and Anna thought it was her name, I wanted to get up from my laptop and just start running. I just wanted to run as far away from that laptop as I could get, because moments like that really they make me want to crawl inside myself. They're just awful.
We don't really know anything about Anna yet, just because we haven't really gotten to see her too much, obviously. But boy, does she look like Hannah B. She looks like Hannah B. Kind of seems like she acts like Hannah B. In those moments when her eyes are popping out of her head, and she you could feel how nervous she was. I'm like, oh boy, this girl is really giving me Hannah B vibes. And for a second, I thought Matt wasn't going to give her a rose because of how much she looks like Hannah B, to be like, this could be weird. This could be a weird thing. Hannah is one of his friends. They are very close. And so I'm like, maybe that's a little too close to home for him to be dating the Hannah B lookalike.
I was very happy for Anna when she got that rose, because they really played it up to the point where I was with you, Fran. I did not think she was going to get a rose.
Yeah.
That Alana Anna thing was going to go down in history as one of the weirdest moments. But yeah, she got a rose. So I was happy for her.
Victoria got the last rose. Not shocking. I feel like as soon as Victoria walked out of the limo, we knew she was going to get the last rose. The drama, to create the drama. She's there for that reason and that reason alone. Matt, one of the things I like about Matt is I think it's going to be kind of hard for him to fake feelings. I think it's kind of obvious when he likes or doesn't like someone. You can see it on his face just from how he talked to some of the girls versus how he talked to Brie and Abigail and some of the other ones. It was so visible on his face, like how he was feeling. So it was so clear that Victoria had to stay because she's going to create some drama, which sucks because I think he did send home some girls who were really cute and maybe deserved a shot. But, someone has to go home, and there are so many amazing women that 7 went home night 1. Alicia, Amani, Carolyn, Amber, Cassandra, Sine, and Corinne all went home night 1. Alicia was the girl who, she got the video package, the ballerina, the whole thing, and was sent home, Alicia was probably the one I was surprised the most about to be going home.
Yeah, I thought Alicia was going to stay for sure. It seemed like she had a great personality, but that wasn't it. And I feel like you could see the pain in Matt James's face when he picked Victoria. Like, I really feel like you could see it on his face that he really did not want to, because I also felt like when he was saying goodbye to Alicia, he looked sad. Like, I was like, why did he look really down that he just said goodbye to her? And it almost made me get the feeling that he was told, hey, you gotta pick Victoria, you gotta get her in there. And he's like, fuck, like, I have to pick this girl. And he's making it known to everybody, like, with his facial expressions, like, trust me, it's not me.
Such a Queen Victoria move for when her name got called. She let out a little yay for everyone to hear. I'm afraid I may switch and like start rooting for Victoria and end up calling her queen at one point, just because of how obnoxious she is. Like, there comes a point when somebody's obnoxious and you get annoyed at them, but then they keep going and you're almost like, all right, I respect it. Like Bennett, when he
seems like a fake person.
Like, at first Bennett was really annoying, right? But then we started to respect it. Then he got annoying again. But then I was like, wait, am I respecting him again? Because when you just go all out, I'm like, how am I supposed to be mad at you? Like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. And I almost feel like I'm talking myself into liking Victoria right now. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just that I hated her at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah. Listen.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Listen,
yes.
there's more than enough room on the Queen Victoria bandwagon. Bennett was that way, and our guy Ed was that way too. Ed, I still don't know how I feel about Ed. It's just, they become these people that are they're just around so much that you start to like the things that you disliked about them. So, Queen Victoria. One other thing, I have not decided if I'm going to continue to call him Matt James or just Matt for the rest of the season. I feel like I like calling him Matt James.
Matt James definitely flows better, but I think it can come and go. Like, I don't, sometimes it's Matt, sometimes it's Matt James. I don't really, it's hard because when you want to talk about him seriously, it's like, all right, this is Matt James's season. Let's go Matt James. But, we're getting to know him. He's Matt. He's just Matt. He's trying to find the love of his life.
Matt James is an awesome name.
It is an awesome name.
You're not going to hear a lot of people say that because people are down on people who have 2 first names as their first and last name. Trust me, I've been tortured my whole life about 2 first names. There's some sort of negative connotation about having 2 first names. You ever heard of a guy named Michael Jordan? He was pretty popular.
James just feels proper. Like, James as a last name just feels like proper.
Trent Ryan is an awesome name.
Yes.
And so is Matt James. Like, there's sometimes it just doesn't flow. Like, if my middle name's Michelle and if my last name was Michelle and I was Maria Michelle, it would be like, there's something missing to that. But I don't
know about that. It'd be like Leah Michelle.
Oh my God. Great point.
Yeah,
my name
it would work.
Is Rhea. Rhea
Michelle.
Damn, that was a really good point. Okay.
Remember when Caleb came on and he was like, James adds to anything? Like, remember that whole conversation?
Yes. Yep. James is a great name. James adds, the jewelry companies, fashion companies, James adds a little spark. So yeah, Matt James, great name. Trent Ryan, great name.
I like
Maria Michelle, great name.
I like Matt James because I think it's 2 syllables, right? It's just Matt James.
Yep.
Easy. It's quick.
Matt James.
I do the clap. I
clap
Matt
too.
James.
I do the mouth opening. Matt James. Because think about it, you're
Matt
saying it
James.
with your mouth.
Matt.
Wouldn't you want to know what your mouth's doing?
So
Matt.
every time your mouth opens, it's a syllable, right?
Yep.
Trent, Ryan. Okay.
Yeah. See what I mean? You feel it more on your mouth.
Interesting. I've never done it that way.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do, guys. We didn't really see too much of these other women who got sent home. I did like Sine. I thought she was very beautiful. I liked her bio. I was kind of sad she went home. She did the goat slippers thing, which sucked because I don't think anybody else really did like a gimmicky clothing thing, obviously beside, showing up naked. But she did the goat slippers, which I thought was, it was cute. It wasn't anything bad, but I guess maybe she didn't get any time with him. And then we saw the big ol' preview for the season. Looks like we've got a lot of drama. Looks like the big twist is that they are bringing in new girls at some point. I don't know if it's because we haven't gotten Paradise this year or because there was so many women that applied. They had so many potential people they wanted on the show that they were like, oh, let's just toss them in a couple weeks in and see what happens. I don't love that just because the drama is always very predictable. Like The new girls come in, the old girls hate the new girls. They all cry about how the new girls are getting more time and they don't deserve it because they've been there but longer. It's the same thing every single time.
Yeah, but I'm into it. I like it. I like that they're bringing in new people because you're right. It manufactures drama and it does feel a little forced, but we are going to get more drama. We saw Heather come out of nowhere. Did anybody have any indication that was happening, or did you guys get blindsided just like me?
I had no idea. Not a clue.
Yeah, I didn't know either, honestly, and I feel like kind of annoyed by it. Like I don't know why, but I feel like it's going to be a non-factor, but also annoying at the same time. Just because it's like, oh, you could have Hannah Brown could have set Matt James up with Heather off the show. Like they're already friends. That could have happened off the show. This is a chance for him to meet a whole bunch of new people. She's not necessarily new.
Yeah, Hannah B and Heather are like very, very close. So that is confusing to me. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't enough time, quarantine. All of a sudden he's the Bachelor and she's like, I should go on the show. I also think one of these girls that comes in is someone that Matt might already know. It just seemed like there was a split second preview of new girls coming out, and the way like she said hi and the way he said hi made it seem like they knew each other already. So that could be an interesting twist. Maybe somebody that he's already met who has applied to be on the show. But yeah, Heather, I have a feeling could be one of those gimmicky things that's used in the trailer. She comes for like one night and tries to get on the show, and then Matt's like, sorry, but no, you can't stay.
Yeah, it's gimmicky, but it's also not, because no offense to Heather, but she's not really moving the needle with people outside of, like, if you haven't been watching The Bachelor for a few years at least, like, you have no idea who Heather is. Like when I tweeted,
totally.
When I was tweeting about Heather showing up, people were like, I don't even know who this person is. So it's just a strange person to bring in.
Right. It's not like Hannah Ann showing up.
Made me laugh so hard. Like, why Heather out of all people? Like, why is Heather being brought into this?
Right. Like
Hannah B must have made a call.
Yeah. It's a past member of the universe coming in from the rafters, but it's like a little bit of a letdown pick. I feel like I'm being mean to Heather, but it's just, I didn't see it coming.
No, it's a stretch.
No.
It's absolutely a stretch.
Maybe Heather really likes Matt.
I mean,
we'll see.
Who doesn't, right? Like, I bet every past contestant on the show is like, damn, I wish I was competing for Matt James.
I was going to say the same thing, Rhea. I was like, there's probably ex-contestants who made that call being like, hey, can I get on the show? Heather needed a little extra help, which is why maybe Hannah Brown had to get involved. But I feel like Heather's probably not the only one that like texted a producer when Matt James was announced being like, hey, so Can I sneak on Matt's season or what?
I just made myself laugh thinking about like if Hannah Brown showed up. Like I know that her like Matt and Hannah are friends and that would never happen, but like say because like I don't know why like her popping up on Peter's season, like her popping up on Peter's season was so unexpected that like if she just popped up on every season going forward would be hilarious. Like as a contestant,
Hannah just becomes the new Chris Bukowski.
Yeah, like she comes on and professes her love for Matt James. It's like, don't do the show.
Oh man,
that would legitimately blow up everything we know. Everything that we understand, physics, logic, how science works, the very DNA of science. If Hannah Brown showed up on Matt James's season, I think the world would fold upon itself, or we would be sucked into a black hole.
My face hurts from laughing so hard. I don't know why. Like thinking of outrageous, outlandish scenarios like that has me dying. Like that would just be incredible. Obviously, that would never happen. They're good friends, but.
Yeah, it is funny. It is very funny to think about, though. It really is.
Like Hannah Brown makes a call for Heather to get on the show, and then Heather shows up, and then Hannah Brown shows up right behind her. Is like, just kidding, Heather. It's my time.
Oh boy. Whew.
Oh man,
that would have been a worthwhile teaser if that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's if we were dealing with an MTV reality show. That's the kind of shit they write into that.
Right.
For sure. So it does seem like it's going to be a very exciting season. Yep, WWE. Yep. It seems like a very exciting season. We're going to get a lot of drama. It looks like a lot of tears. We got maybe someone who's an escort. We got some allegations being thrown around. So I'm excited to watch. Matt did a phenomenal job. I think everybody in the world fell in love with Matt last night. So I'm excited. Do we want to pick some early favorites if you can remember them, Trent?
I need another week because now it's the week where too much shit is coming out on TikTok about too many contestants that I don't want to lock in any answers because I locked in an answer last night and now I'm seeing shit about Rachel on TikTok that I don't know like what's going on, Rachel, the one that looks like Rebecca Black.
What kind of shit about Rachel?
Somebody posted about Rachel. This TikTok is going majorly viral on TikTok about how she bullied a girl in high school for liking black guys. So this girl posted, "Girlie, remember when you bullied me in high school for liking black guys?" It has 415,000 likes. So that means it has It has 2.8 million views. But this girl then made like a legit 7-part series explaining what happened. But let's play it because I didn't see this part yet. It was just posted.
Okay, so here is the long-awaited video. The point of the video last night was not to make people not like this girl. It really was just to kind of go over the irony of, I got made fun of that by her and her friend group in high school, and now she's doing it on a show. So I just thought it was, super convenient, the timing of everything, and I wanted to shed some light on it, and I wanted to hold everybody accountable because that's not okay to treat people like that. I still have never gotten an apology from anybody in that friend group. I just think it was super ironic that that's now what she's doing. And she's talking about how color doesn't matter. And that's, not what was portrayed to me in high school when I was ridiculed for liking a boy that was a different race than me. I don't think that's okay. I would never lie about something this serious on my life and on the Bible. This happened to me by her friend group in high school. Okay.
So that's part one. And people keep commenting. These are like the comments. You keep saying her friend group. Was it her friend group or was it her? Yeah. This girl commented, "Girl, I went to high school with you all 4 years. Rachel didn't even go to our school." People are asking for that would be absurd.
That is so funny. Like, hey, I went to high school with you. Rachel didn't even go to our school.
Who knows?
She doesn't even go here.
Yeah. Who knows if that's a real person? But like that has a bunch of likes. people are like, where's the proof? But I don't really, it's verbal. Like, how are you supposed to prove that somebody made fun of you for liking black guys? Like, unless you had video proof of it, no, you're not going to have proof of that. You're just going to have your word for that. So there's like 6 more parts. Let's see what she says.
Okay, well, here is part 2. As y'all saw from the comments on the video, her friends were very quick to jump on me and attack my character just like they did in high school. Nothing's changed, obviously. Obviously, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And I'm not saying she's perfect. And maybe things have changed. I don't know. But judging from how the comments were handled last night, as they were all together at a watch party together, I don't think things have changed much for that friend group. Since I posted the video, I've had 2 other girls from Forsyth County, where I grew up and where she grew up, say that friend group has also bullied them. Since the video has also aired, I've had 4 of my friends, I'm not even really close with them anymore, but 4 of my friends reach out saying that they remember me being tormented about this issue back in high school. And it just goes to show that nothing's really changed. I'm getting, ridiculed for speaking up rather than what actually happened. Okay, well, so this is
part 3.
Third part of story time for this. I also was sent a Reddit last night that was posted a week before my video last night that highlighted her posting some stuff about child sex trafficking and kind of cleaning up her social media. Apparently she liked the Black Lives Matter page last night. I also was sent 7 tweets by her friends a couple years ago that they were using racial slurs, and they have since been deleted. A lot of the comments on my TikTok of them harassing me last night were also deleted. I just think it's super inconvenient and goes to show nothing's really changed. Their group was so quick to jump and so quick to back her up that it just seems super convenient. And I liked that a bunch of you guys actually noticed that as well, that it was just super convenient, the timing of everything. I would never lie about the derogatory names that they called me and the things they said to me at all the social events between our 2 high schools. So
this is.
Oh, so she just said 2 high schools.
She said 2 high schools. So maybe she didn't go to high school with her, but was bullied in high school by her.
This is part 4.
About Rachel?
What?
Yeah.
This is about Rachel? Okay.
Yes. This is part 4. And so apparently Rachel said on the episode last night that color doesn't matter to her. So that's why this girl is posting all of this.
More of telling my story from high school. Obviously this is something that hasn't left me. It's something that still affects me to this day. Something I still feel uncomfortable about. And I'm actually really glad to be able to tell you guys, my story. And hopefully this helps other people to come forward about their story, being ridiculed in high school, being bullied, whatever it may be. I also, different emotions were brought out in me last night when I watched the commercial about, her talking, oh, color doesn't matter to me, race doesn't matter to me. Well, then why'd you bring it up? If it doesn't matter and you don't see color, why'd you bring it up? Okay.
Here are 4 messages I received just after the video was posted. As you can see, 2 of them don't even want to come forward because this friend group is that bad. Okay, so this is a message. Hi, honey. I just want you to know I was actually thinking about you like 2 months ago and how fucked up it was for you in high school when people were giving you all that shit. You and I were close then, so I saw what you went through. Just wanted you to know I was thinking about you, and I do remember. And I got cut out. And somebody wrote, "Ugh, I'm sorry, hate this, but please do not even talk about me or mention college at all. Don't want them bullying my ass again, SMH." That's what somebody said. Really, though, those girls in high school never let up on you for liking black guys. And that was the last message. I can't watch the last part because
it does seem like she has a lot of evidence. Not evidence, but like those are people backing up her story.
Right. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you can't all these people commenting being like, where's the proof? Like, what is she supposed to do? Like she's not going to have any hard, cold proof that this happened. But if it happened, it happened. So I don't know. So last night, before knowing any of this, I had Rachel in my top 5. But now I'm like, I don't know if I want to put Rachel in my top 5 if this is what's happening.
That's crazy. Now, she is, I think Rachel's 20, she's 24 now. So I don't know. It's tough because she probably can't talk about it or say anything about it. But if she was part of something in high school that now she learns or has learned that was wrong, and she knows that it's wrong, then that girl who made all these TikToks, deserves an apology and to talk to her. But if what she's saying is true, and it does seem like Rachel and her friends are still coming after this girl for sharing the story or whatever it is, just seems like a bunch of mean girls. Seems like just a group of mean girls, that Rachel was just a part of that kind of crowd in high school. Sad.
That is sad.
We'll see if anything else happens about it. But regardless of that, because now this is coming out now, so the show, obviously is already done. It still kind of seems like Rachel's going to go far, I think.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, obviously. Because it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, of course you can't believe everything on the internet, but this girl is making 20 TikToks about this. You would think if it wasn't
quadruple down,
she would let up on it. There was a 7-part series about this. So
I feel like that's something you have to factor in now. It seems like it's a trend that every season people are trying to get TikTok famous off
totally.
I knew this girl.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
I'm not for people just want to cancel people for no reason sometimes, but I think if it really depends on the type of situation it is. You know what I mean? Because Matt James is Black and she made fun of this girl for liking Black guys, then it's kind of relevant to the conversation. But
totally.
Sometimes people are just out to cancel people for mistakes they made that they clearly learned from. So it's a very, very tricky situation.
Yeah, it's a good point to think about that now it is a trend every season that one or two contestants are getting exposed on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And, maybe that's for likes, maybe that's to go viral, whatever it is. But when you post multiple TikToks and explain yourself as much as you can as possible, then I do kind of think there is more validity to it than if you maybe just posted one TikTok and then never talked about it ever again and just let it kind of blow up, or it gets that attention. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's very interesting. I feel bad for that girl to have to go through something like that and then watch her on this show,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I mean, if we were going to do a top 3, and if I had to do it, I think I would do Abigail, obviously. I think Mari's another obvious one. And then I liked, I don't know if she had a great connection with Matt James. I don't even really remember, but I like the name Piper. I remember that being one of the names. So I'm going to put her in the top 3 just because I think that's an awesome name.
I really like Abigail. Obviously, we all like Abigail. I think I would go Abigail, Bree, and oh boy.
Yeah.
Abigail, Bree, and maybe Sarah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like Rhea said, I think it's very hard to pick out of the group of 30 when we don't really know anything about them. I think after week 2, we sometimes get a better idea. But right now, that's where I'm going to go. Sarah, Bree, and Abigail.
I would say Abigail, Bree, Mari, and I don't know. It's tough. I need another week. I need another week before I lock in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Let me have
Very
another
fair.
week, guys.
Very fair. We will allow you one more week. I will say I also really like Kristen. I thought Kristen was great, and I hope she goes far too.
Yeah, Kristen seems fun.
Yeah. All right. I think that wraps up.
Thank you guys for the love on Twitter. I saw.
Oh,
You're so welcome, Kristen.
Kristen, you're gonna get love every week now.
Yeah. Yep. Rub our backs. We rub yours.
Yep.
I think that wraps up night 1.
I'm very excited for this season. I think we all are. I think the hype is very high for this season. I think it's going to match it. Just having a guy like Matt James, like a steady, honest, legitimately nervous guy, like I think that's just a good mix for a Bachelor that we haven't had before. And I think it's going to be chaos swirling around him, but I think it's going to be more of a season that we're used to, but also not. I'm just very excited about it. The possibilities are endless.
Agreed. Very excited. And we will be back. Trent, will we see you on Cutting Stems on Monday?
I will be there. I promise.
Wonderful. We will be back ready to go for week 2.